Hello and welcome to the first edition of the HoundsHQ Podcast. We're going to give insight on everything happening in the Carmel athletics community, interviews with coaches, athletes, etc. Today we got a great show planned for you guys, the first annual episode.
Today we have the assistant varsity coach for the boys golf team and back-to-back state titles in the 2018 and 2019 years. And then, well, let's just get into it. Here's Chard Reid.
Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, we heard about a recent experience with you going out to Augusta National. Your daughter in the drive, chip, putt competition. What was it like out there at
I'll tell you what, it was like nothing you could imagine. Just pristine environment, and you know the USGA and PGA and the Masters. They just put together a great event for these kids. Treat them like they're celebrities, and every aspect of the weekend was awesome.
So, I mean, you coached from 2014 to 2019, and then you took a couple years off. Then you came back as an assistant varsity coach to head coach Joshua Shelton. What was your kind of mindset in saying, I want to go back to coaching? Was it taking a couple years off and just kind of thinking through things, or it was kind of, I just want to jump back in, help the kids out?
Well, I never wanted to step away. I mean, I was kind of just told whenever I took the job that it was going to work out, and then it found out it wasn't. And so I even petitioned just to get one more year, my last year in 2019. So I ended up doing it for free because I love it so much. And they said, though, after that, you know, it's a teaching role, and that's fine. So being back, it's a no-brainer for me because I love having that impact on students, having those conversations, and just helping student athletes get better. To me, it doesn't matter, you know, what position you're in. If you're able to connect with students and work on things on the course, that's where I want to be.
100%. And I'm sure the experience so far, 4 or 5 weeks into the season, has been nothing short of amazing, right? Just kind of getting back on the golf course. I know you're there probably every day after school or every day on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, but I'm sure it's pretty nice to get on the golf course again.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
So I take it you were a high school athlete as well?
No, not too much. I mean, I played a couple years of golf.
Okay.
I actually had kind of a hot head.
So where did your whole golf journey start then?
Well, my sophomore year, I believe it or not, I broke 7 clubs. And, you know, my parents would drop me off at the course, and it was kind of like Lord of the Flies out there, you know, a bunch of kids running around being hooligans. And our coach never left the clubhouse. And we would just do ridiculous things, and wasn't helpful for any of us. And I needed someone to tell me, like, what you're doing is nonsense, stop it. And it just kind of, for me, it just had to come to a head, and I actually stopped playing. It wasn't fun for me anymore. I got too result focused, and I would get way ahead of myself mentally. Like, I'd be under par, and I'd start thinking about the course record. So that's one of my favorite things about coaching is, like, helping guys, number one, have realistic expectations, and number two, like, mentally stay in it one shot at a time, because most problems in golf happen when you start thinking ahead, even if it's just a couple shots ahead. Like, I'm going to get on this par 5 and 2. That's usually not a good headspace. Like, let's hit a drive in the fairway first, and then think about that second shot.
I mean, it sounds like Happy Gilmore. I heard they're coming out with a new movie. I'm not sure if you'd be interested in that role, but it sounds like with your high school experience, you might get the role. You might be a good fit.
I may have had a javelin throw or two with the flag in my time, but it's just, there's no place for that, and that's something that I wish somebody would have held me accountable to, and but that movie sure is funny. There's no question about it.
And you're a great fit for the movie.
Oh yeah,
especially with all that. But yeah, high schoolers are gonna be high schoolers, right?
Yep.
So moving on, I mean, not just on the course or not on the athletic turf, you also run work-based learning here at Carmel High School, and I'm sure that's an experience that not many know about. Could you just tell kind of the community on what work-based learning is to give them a little bit of a better idea on some of the opportunities the students have here at Carmel?
Yeah, I tell you, that's so much fun what I get to do now. Just working with students. We have 26 career pathways that students take for 3 years. And then their senior year, they have an opportunity to do an optional capstone experience. So next year we're going to have about 130 students interning in the community.
Wow.
Everything from, we got a couple interns going to Cat Sapper Miller for accounting. We've got 11 nursing students going to IU North and some to St. Vincent's. We've got culinary students, construction, automotive. We have students who are college bound and career bound, all pursuing experiences in the field and getting that real hands-on, that authentic and meaningful learning.
Wow.
What are like some of the coolest internships you have students doing, if you don't mind sharing? Because I know I've heard a couple that are quite amazing, and I know some people would kind of enjoy to hear that.
I mean, we have, obviously, the nursing students get some really cool hands-on stuff. They're even learning things like phlebotomy, and they're getting to rub shoulders with the chief nursing officer, which talk about just building your network for the future. But some of our computer science kids, it's unbelievable, the things that they're doing with machine learning and artificial intelligence. We have one student who wrote out all the code for this startup program. For every time this company in our area has a new employee, they get a new device, and that was a 3-hour process to kind of set up that device. He wrote this code that allows it to be done in one click. It still takes 45 minutes to run in the background, but someone can click and leave instead of having to come back and forth to the machine.
It's crazy to think how there's like these, I mean, you have high schoolers doing the position that lots of college or people out of college are doing some of these jobs, and they're completing things that, I mean, it's just insane, like what kind of level they've gotten to.
Yeah, I mean, and not to mention they're paid too.
Yeah,
most of them are
all
paid,
of them
right?
are paid. I mean, is it all or most, or what's
most of them? It's
them?
really up to the business. We never want to lose a really quality experience over money. So we tell them, like, if you think the kids are adding value, then by all means make it paid. But we had a marketing firm who said, listen, we have 3 different softwares that we use, and none of them communicate. If you had a computer science kid that can make a new software in-house that's proprietary for us that does all 3 together and they communicate, that'd be awesome. And he's like, I couldn't pay because I don't know if it's going to work out. But if it works out, like, we'd compensate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like a really cool opportunity for a kid to try something. Like, when are you going to get to do that?
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that one's not paid. Stuff like that.
And I'm looking at taking some of the work-based learning, and it's just, the possibilities I see from it and the experience you're going to get going to college, and it's great. I'm excited to start getting into that.
And not many schools have the opportunity where, hey, I got 2 free periods. I'm going to leave. I'm going to go make some money, and I'm going to come back.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's unreal. Not to mention you're building a resume for college and whatnot. And work-based learning is just getting the kids prepared for their next step.
And what's cool about the pay, some of them are getting $16, $17 an hour.
Wow.
One of those students that's a nursing student at IU, I think she's worked like 450 hours at $16.50 an hour. Like, that's close to $7,000. And they gave a $500 Christmas bonus. So these students are able to really bring home a lot. Some of our automotive students are being offered $1,500 signing bonuses. So it's the community wants it. They're excited about having this employment pipeline to start building the future of their employee base, which is really cool.
And not only is it just during the school year, right? Though kids are scoring summer internships, having something they can do all summer, whether that's landscaping, marketing, like you said, computer science, coding, all that jazz. They can do that over the summer and kind of continue that into the next school year.
Yeah, and again, that's kind of up to the business and the student. A lot of the businesses are taking advantage of that because they can more or less get them full-time in the summer leading up, and then they're really ready to go come school year. They can work that part-time during the day, and then the following summer they're keeping them around. We had 5 mid-year grads, and 4 of them loved what they were doing and started full-time the day school ended. One of them said, you know what, this isn't for me. Like, it was welding. And honestly, that's a win too. Because if you find out now that this isn't for you and you're going to pursue something else, now at least you didn't waste time after high school paying for a degree or certification that you don't ever use.
And that's something that I've seen Carmel Clay schools kind of starting to promote now, that you don't always have to go an extra 4 years and pay thousands and thousands of dollars to get a degree. There's other opportunities out there that's not just trades. It's not just plumbing. It's not just electricians. There's jobs like marketing and accountants that you can get out of high school with internship experience and score a job and be just fine for the rest of your years without going to
And
college.
that's one thing that my accounting teacher was actually talking about. She was saying how, I mean, a degree is great. You're trying to work in these corporations, but if maybe that money aside or something is, if there's a reason that doesn't work out, there's local businesses everywhere. There's every single business needs someone to run their money and that. And like with accounting, it's just, there's positions available for people at all levels.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just quite amazing to kind of see how these kids are scoring these internships and they're starting, but not. I mean, this just started a couple years ago, right?
So when they brought me in not last school year, but like in October last school year, I should say, a little bit late into the year, I had the opportunity just to kind of build it out, and so we had a couple students piloting. And you don't get to do that much in education. Usually it's like jump in the plane and build it in the air. And this was really well thought out at all levels here at the high school, but also at central office. Just like, let's give him time to figure out what this program is going to be like, study what other schools are doing in the areas, and figure out what's going to be best for our 100%. Students. Yeah. And so this year we had 57 students doing it. Next year it's going to be 130. And we anticipate that going forward, it's going to be 200 or 300 students a year doing it. So I already have someone new coming on to help me next year, which really excited about as well. Yeah.
So, I mean, you started the program and it's built, I mean, a couple years into it now. What do you see kind of with the future of it?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is you got to constantly be looking ahead, because if you don't have positions, you can't place kids. And so from starting now through January, a big part of my role is proactively looking for new positions, looking for new partners. And the bigger the company, the better. I mean, a company like IU North who says they're going to hire 11, it's a lot easier to place kids. But I'm also talking with them like, you have marketing, you have finance, you have HR, you have all different types of business functions that we could also partner with. And one of the things that I'm really excited about next year, we have students who are going to be paid computer technicians in the district at the middle schools in here. And I'm hoping long term we can even help with some of our shortages in instructional assistants, because it's really hard as an elementary administrator. We had open spots a lot for instructional assistants, and it was hard to fill those jobs. But we have students who are going into education. How great would it be if they could work from 7 to noon at an elementary, get real world experience doing reading instruction, math instruction, and also be meeting a need that our district has.
And when you started the program, this went back to 2018. What subject were you teaching when you won Carmel High School Teacher of the Year back in 2018?
Yeah, so I did International Baccalaureate Business Management. So it's a 2-year class, 5.A, 8 college credits, and I did DECA. And so and then I helped create the Carmel Cafe and ran that. Yeah. So had a lot on the plate back then, and it was a lot of fun. I love DECA, love to still be part of it. Like, I have a lot of students that still come and just meet and just want kind of a mentor through the process.
So we deal with athletics. You work in the athletics office. So how does this program, I mean, you have lots of high school athletes that they don't have time after school or over summer when sports are practicing to get these jobs. But I mean, they do have some of these openings in the days and stuff like that during school. So, I mean, how have you seen that kind of help those student athletes be able to score jobs?
It's fantastic for student athletes because you don't have that time for an after-school job. You don't have that weekend availability. And to not only get the professional experience that's going to help you long-term, but to be able to make money during the school day is a huge deal for our student athletes. Yeah. It doesn't require them to say, do I want to make a little money or spend more time on my studies? Now you can do both, because we're not taking time out after practice to go work. Like, now you have time for studies, and you can really be a well-rounded student athlete now.
And have you seen, or a majority of your students are, what percentage would you think are high school athletes or club athletes? Like, they don't have to play at Carmel High School, but they might play club sport outside of school. What percentage of students, just a rough estimate, do you think would be Carmel High School athletes?
Oh, I think over half probably. And to your point, they're not all on a high school team. Like, I have a young lady who, I mean, she's going to places like Africa doing horse competitions. It's amazing. Wow. And so you have folks who are doing things like judo on the side. Yeah. and that gives them more opportunities to pursue what they love outside of the school day and not have to choose between work and passion.
100%. So, like, kind of going back to the whole sports topic and golf, obviously we mentioned it earlier in the show, but assistant varsity boys golf coach, just came back from Augusta National. I kind of want to just touch on that yet again, because that's a surreal experience. I know we kind of had time to talk about it outside of the show a couple weeks ago when you first came back. Yeah. I saw you come in with your Masters gear on 6 days, 7 days of the week, which is awesome to see.
Yep.
Just what's that experience like, pulling up to Augusta National and seeing the clubhouse for the first time?
Yeah.
Putting your phones, sealing them away because you're not allowed to have your phones out at Augusta
That's
National.
Right.
What was the overall experience like out there?
Well, one of the cool things is the players actually get to come down Magnolia Lane. And so you see that on TV all the time. No one out, if you're just a normal patron, you don't get to go down Magnolia Lane. So that was fantastic. But my daughter was cracking up because when we got there, I couldn't get past how perfect the grass was, and I must have mentioned it like 4 times, and she's like, enough about the grass already. But it was like almost like AstroTurf consistency, because it was that perfect. There's not a piece of crabgrass anywhere, and you get out on the practice facility, and it's the real deal. Like, you wouldn't believe.
Well, only dads talk about grass that much. So
that's right.
There you go.
And I do. I try to put some fairway lines in my yard. I bought the 0-turn mower.
Okay.
It's kind of like my own little fairway at home, you know?
Mm-hmm. Were you on a stand-up or a sit-down mower?
Oh, the 0-turn.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
John Deere?
Yeah, sitting down, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
no,
legit.
it's a Toro.
Okay, that's still legit.
Yeah.
Good job.
You rock the white New Balances too, or?
No, I don't. No. White shoes are not for me.
Do you have your shades or?
I do, yeah.
What is your little
Actually,
outfit out there?
I've seen you mowing before. I've seen you.
You have drove.
I
you
have.
drove by my house when I was mowing once. I always go with the Oakley Holbrook.
Okay.
The Holbrook frame. Yeah, that's it. You don't see me outside without sunglasses very much. I bet our team picture I'm wearing sunglasses, because otherwise I'm like this, like can't see in the sun. It's yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. But back to Augusta. I mean, coolest thing too is just I think having the experience as a coach was really an advantage too, because some of these parents, I mean, you're talking about, you're on national TV in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
A lot of them were just a nervous wreck, and as a coach, like, calm is contagious, and so is crazy. And if you're crazy, that's contagious. And so for me, just to be able to talk calmly with Karis, kind of mentally prepare her for weeks ahead of time. Like, I didn't know how she would respond. I mean, when you've got 1,000 people watching you,
100%, yeah.
And on TV, like, our big thing was like we came up with was like audience of one. You don't care about what anyone else is watching except the Lord. And for us, like, having that faith-based worldview is really freeing, and so she could just play her game and not worry about what anyone else was seeing or what anyone else was thinking.
And you can only plan so much for that kind of experience. I mean, that many people there, you're on a national level, and
national television too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for those who don't know, Chard Reid is his daughter. She won the 12-13 girls age group, correct? For the drive, chip, putt. What was your favorite part of the whole experience? I know you kind of gave some details.
Man.
I know concession prices was a topic.
A little pimento cheese sandwich is certainly,
And what-
$1.50 or
$1.50?
those are $3 maybe, but everything's cheap. I mean, it's crazy.
It looks like pimento cheese there must be a low supply, because
Yeah.
that's the most expensive thing pretty much on the menu, right? Like a peanut
Chicken
butter.
sandwich was a little bit more. I think it
Okay.
was $1.50 for pimento. Now that I think about it. Chicken sandwich was $3.
Giving Chick-fil-A a run for its money.
Yeah,
that's unreal.
yeah. But no, I think my favorite part was just, the part that I was, I guess, the most nervous about was, can we get a ball in the grid? Because I knew she was going to be as long, if not longer, than everyone there, because she hammers it. And the problem is that grid's only 20. You only got 20 yards either way to miss. And so when she put that first ball in, it was like, all right, let's go. And then she could rip at that next one. So she won the drive. She won the chip, hit two chip shots to like 6'10", I think, or 7'10", something like that. And we got up to the putting green, and there's almost no pressure because she was so far ahead at that point, and just tried to to leave her short and just enjoy the moment. Because we've watched it year after year. It's like one of our favorite things to do is just watch the kids, and she's dreamed of being on there and actually be on that 18th green with the chance to win was really cool.
And you actually caddied for her, right?
Yeah.
And that's got to be cool watching her hit practice balls and whatnot, knowing that, heck, Tiger Woods, you got Scotty Scheffler, you got huge golfers who have probably golfed in the same location that she's hitting drives and chips right now. It's got to be surreal.
And I tell you, one of the coolest parts about that I didn't mention was on the green, that second putt they hit, the 15-footer, is the traditional Sunday pin location. So it's actually where you've seen countless championships won and lost on the 18th green.
Wow. I mean, that's unreal.
Pretty cool.
And not to mention the Masters following the drive chip putt was a great tournament. Obviously, everybody cheering for Tiger. It didn't turn out the way people probably wanted it to. But, I mean, overall, it was a great tournament. I mean, it is every year, right? But that's got to be amazing watching it from your television, knowing, heck, I was there 2 weeks ago or a week ago.
Yeah.
And I got Masters gear, Masters shop. I heard you had a little fun in the Masters shop. Just tell everybody what you came out with, because you can't buy Masters gear online.
No, you can't. You can't get it anywhere else. We spent a little bit way too much, I'd say, and I think it was even worse because our time to go in was after the competition. So she had just won, and so now you're super giddy, and you're like, she's like, "Can I get this?" Yes, anything you want. And I think she walked out with 3 hats, 3 shirts. I got a vest, a pullover, golf shirt, T-shirt. I went overboard. I bet we spent $1,200. Yeah, it was outrageous.
A little bang for your buck, but that stuff could probably resell for more than that.
Also, that's a once in a lifetime experience to get out there and fresh after winning it, and then get in there and get some stuff.
What's cool is too, they do it right. I mean, every part of it. Like any kid that walked in, the employees, probably 100 employees in there. They stop what they're doing and give a standing ovation for every kid that was wearing a drive chip and putt shirt. Like, that's pretty cool, just to make the kids feel really special that day, and it was neat.
That is pretty sweet. I mean, there's no golf courses in it. I mean, there's a couple that are really nice in Indiana, but there's no golf course that compares to Augusta National. But Carmel Golf playing at their home course, Prairie View, a few miles down the road from here. It's the host site for the IHSA Boys and Girls Golf State Championship for the next couple years. What's it like playing at your home course, Prairie View, but also having the site of the IHSA State Championship, especially when you won it back-to-back in 2018 and 19? Yeah,
well, I tell you, there's something special about that, just to know you're playing the biggest tournament of the year, and you've already got to worry about that in some respect, right? Like, you shouldn't, but it's always there. Like, I want to win this tournament, And to go in there and be able to play free and not have to worry about, wonder if these greens are fast. I wonder how they break. I wonder where I should hit this tee shot. Like, we do have a nice advantage to be able to know that course inside and out. It's not just us, though. I mean, Westfield's there, Garen's there all the time. Center Grove comes up. They even come up all the time. I mean, teams are up here practicing that course a lot. And it's nice that it's public because, when you have a state championship, like some states at private courses, it does limit access. But I'll tell you, it's the primary reason that we're members. I want Karis to have seen that course 10,000 times before she gets here in high school. It's the more you know a course, the more prepared you're going to be successful.
And I'm sure you got a lot of memories on that course. I mean, 2 state championships, runner-up the year before, 2017, correct?
Yep.
What has been your favorite memory? I'm sure state championships have been up there, but was there a certain play or chip or putt or drive that somebody had that still sticks into your mind to this day?
Yeah, in 2018 it was close, and we were winning by 1 going into the last hole, last group. Nick Dentino and Noah Gillard, and Gillard plays at IU now. He's like 6'5", he's huge, and just hammers the ball, lefty, and so he nailed his drive, and he's going to go for it in 2. Nick was like, "Hey, what should we do?" I'm like, "Dude, make him be a hero. Let's lay up. Let's make par. Make him make birdie. Force it. And we might make birdie if we lay up with a good wedge." So we laid up down by the creek, and he's going to have a wedge in. But from that vantage point, you can't really see where his ball's going. But it's clearly he's a lefty. He's pushed it left, and the ball's going to be in the woods. And so Nick and I look at each other, and I'm like, "Well, that's ball game." Well, what we didn't know was the ball struck the back of a middle school kid from Center Grove and bounced back into play. And so I'm like, hey, middle of the green, nice and smooth here. He missed the green. He's in the bunker. And we walk up there, and Gillard's ball's in play, and he hits it to 20 feet. And the rule is you can't talk to players once they get on the green. Yeah. You can talk to them up to the green. And I'll never forget, I said, Nick, hey, listen, if he makes that putt, you've got to make up and down from the bunker. And he goes, Coach, he ain't going to make that putt. And I put my hand on his shoulder, and I said, Nick, if he makes that putt, you have got to make up and down. And so Nick hits this great sand shot to about 4 feet, marks his ball. And Gillard's got 20, 25 feet, and it's a bender coming down the hill. And he putts it, putter raises, he starts walking her in. And there's like 400 or 500 people there.
Oh, man.
And he makes it, and he's fist pumping all over the green like he's Tiger Woods. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. I'm sure glad I got him mentally ready for this. And so Nick's over the putt, steps up to the 4-footer. First tournament of the year, he missed a 3-footer. We lost the tournament. Cool little bookend. Steps up to the 4-footer, rams her in the heart, and just goes, picks up his ball, walks off, no celebration, just cool as can be. And afterwards, I said, Nick, how nervous were you? He goes, Coach, my hands were shaking so bad I couldn't feel them. And I said, why didn't you step off? He goes, it wasn't going to get any better. And he just like, the clutch putt, 4 feet, like that's what you dream of as a kid. And it's a cool moment. And then the next year, we won by 18. It wasn't quite as, exciting, but equally cool.
Yeah.
That's unreal. And, I think that's our time. But 2 state championships, 2018, 2019, back-to-back. Just came back from Augusta National, drive, chip, putt. Daughter became the 12-13 girls champion. Life for you has probably been pretty great the past few years.
That's been awesome. It's always great to be a Greyhound.
Oh, great day to be a Greyhound. It's a great year to be a Greyhound. Greyhounds already have 6 state championships going into the spring this year. 9's the record. The Hounds are chasing it.
We are chasing it. Thank you guys so much for listening today. This has been the HQ Podcast with Chard Reid. Hope to see you guys on the next one. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at HQ Podcast. And, keep on the look. You might find someone you know on here.